Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sabba papaksa akaranang kusalassa upasampada. Sacitta pariyodapanang itang buddhana sasanang. Dear Venerable Bhikkhu, friends, first of all, let me express my grateful thanks to everybody who are responsible for organizing this special sermon today, and especially I would like to convey my congratulations and also greetings to the corporate body of the Buddha Education Foundation for the opportunity given me to give a short sermon to you this evening. We can read books everywhere in the world sent by this foundation. So we have great respect and also great confidence on the work carried out by this organization. I am sure that everybody who you are here knows the work carried out by this foundation, and therefore no need for me to spend time for talking on that aspect. I especially want to mention with grateful thanks this opportunity I got due to our fellow monk, my brother monk, who is Venerable, who is working with you, Venerable Chandima, the Sanghanayaka of Taiwan. And because of his kindness and because of his love, affection, I have been able to come here and stay these couple of days in this city, during which I got this opportunity to talk to you. The topic for my talk this evening has been discussed a little while ago, and it has been decided to give a talk on the Buddhist way of life. Buddhist way of life is very simple. It does not involve so many commitments, and also it is not complicated. It is quite straightforward. I recited a quotation from the teachings of the Buddha a little while ago at the start of my talk, which gives which explains the Buddhist way of life in brief. Recited this in Pali language, which we Theravada Buddhist monks use. It reads as follows: Sabba papassa akaranang kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasanang. The meaning is, I don't think that you may need having the Pali term, and I will tell you the meaning. It explains to us not to do evil things, do good things, purify your minds. This is the admonition given by the Buddha. This is what we have to do in our daily life as Buddhists. Sabba papassa akaranam, not to do evil things. What are the evil things? every Buddhist knows that whether they are Theravada or Mahayana, as such, what we say, killing is a bad thing, stealing is a bad thing, committing adultery is a bad thing, telling lies is a bad thing, and also being intoxicated is a bad thing. The Buddha advises us to refrain from committing these evil things. In Buddhism, that we have monks, nuns and lay people. Monks and nuns have many more rules and regulations for their discipline. You lay people do not have so many rigid rules to follow. Monks have 227 rules to obey, to discipline themselves, to regularize their lives. But you people have, the lay people have only a few, just only 5. What we say, 5 precepts. They are not commandments to obey. These are rules of conduct to regularize, to train ourselves, to train our lives, not to do harm to others, not to take what is not freely given to us, and to be satisfied with one's own wife and one's own husband, and to be truthful, to practice truthfulness all the time, and also not to be intoxicated. When one avoids these things, naturally one's life becomes full of love, kindness and compassion. The entire teachings of the Buddha is based on love and compassion. We can practice these 2 aspects, love and compassion, in our daily life. Our society would be a very pleasant place to live in. All evil things in the world, all terrorist activities, all criminal activities are committed by the people due to lack of love and compassion. Love is a beautiful emotion human beings have. It is very important, and also it is something that can be cultivated by everybody in daily life. The Pali term is metta, the Sanskrit form is maitri, which means loving kindness. This has been translated into English as love, which is misleading, because immediately when you hear the word love, your mind tends to think that it is something to possess, because this word is used between lovers. It is the love of lovers, and therefore we have to be very careful when we use these translations in different languages. The real meaning of the word metta is friendliness, active interest in the well-being of others. It is like mother's feeling, father's feeling towards their children. Mother and father, and especially mother, is ever ready to sacrifice even her life for the well-being of the child. That form of feeling we have to cultivate in our minds as Buddhists. And that feeling should be developed or cultivated and radiated towards all beings. We should be able to look at each other with that loving feeling. When one cultivates that feeling in one's mind, naturally that person refrains from harming others. And therefore the basis of refraining from killing or harming others is loving kindness. When we say, in our Theravada tradition we say in Pali language, Buddhang Panati Pata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami, I refrain from taking life. And sometimes this has been translated as I refrain from killing. But that includes all forms of harm, whether it is physical harm or mental harm. Say, for instance, a smile is a beautiful thing. That smile can be used by a person to hurt others. To hurt others. A crooked smile can hurt another person, creating big pain in the mind. The smile is a good thing, but that very good smile can be used as a weapon to create pain in another person's mind. So therefore we have to be very careful in our dealings with the others, not to hurt others' feelings. A person who practices metta or loving kindness does not do harm to others, not only to living beings, even to the nature. And that person cares for living beings as well as non-living beings like trees and creepers, plants, environment. It is those people who do not practice loving kindness make harm to the environment. We talk a great deal nowadays regarding environmental pollution. In considering how to protect the environment, we can see cultivation of loving kindness has a great place to play in it. So in this way, the first precept is to be practiced with great love and compassion, and we can see it is based on love and compassion. We have to be very mindful about our daily thinking. If we are practicing loving feeling with mindfulness, we can see nothing wrong will happen from us. If we are mindful about loving kindness, if we are practicing loving feeling towards each other and towards the environment, there is no room for us to do anything harm to others. It is a daily thing. And this is what we say, Buddhism in daily life means practicing loving kindness, practicing compassion. If one is compassionate, one avoids doing harm to all the others. It is the same with the other precepts as well. And when we say the second precept out of these 5 principles, we say Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami, I undertake the precept to abstain from taking what is not freely given. If one is practicing loving kindness and compassion, that person does not steal. One does not commit theft. Stealing is also very difficult principle to keep right up to the standard, because there are so many intricacies in it, so many complexions in it. Say, for instance, one may say, I do not kill and I do not steal. But still, unknowingly, if that person does not give the proper work to the amount paid for that person, or for the salary, if one is not working properly for the salary paid to that person, that is also a form of stealing. And also, if the employers are not paying enough salary for the labor given to the work, that's also a form of stealing. In other words, if we do not attend our work right on time, and if we do not continue work right to the end of the day, it is a form of stealing. And these things can happen in any society if one is not considerate, if one is not mindful enough about this. One has to refrain from stealing, but at the same time one has to practice generosity in heart. When we work for someone, we work for the reason that we need, earning our living. At the same time, we should have in our mind the understanding we are giving our labor for the wages paid to us. And there should be some generous feeling in the heart towards the employer, that we work for that person pays us for the labor, but at the same time we do it out of compassion and generosity. And we can see this is also a form of daily practice, what we say Buddhism in daily life. And then the next precept, the third one, we say Kāmesu Micchācārā Vedamani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi in Pali. That means I refrain from unlawful sex. In other words, I would be satisfied with my own wife and my own husband. If one breaks this, that person is committing something very wrong that would bring unsatisfactoriness to the society. It creates disharmony, disunity, and it breaks families, friends, and bringing untold suffering to the society. It does not advocate celibacy to everybody, but chastity, one wife and one husband. And that is the principle in the teachings of the Buddha. And then the fourth precept is, in Pali language we say Musāvādā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyāmi. That means I undertake the precept to abstain from unskillful words. Sometimes it has been translated as I abstain from telling lies, but not only not telling lies, it includes backbiting, harsh words, idle gossips as well. This principle or this precept has great importance in our social life.
Next verse also
That can bring great harm
enjoyable place
to families, to friends and to the society.
If that incident which is taken
You everybody knows
at death
the Buddha had a son whose name was Rahula.
or say for instance if it makes the person unhappy,
The Buddha ordained him when he was 7 years old.
you will see
A
the
small
reactions
boy.
of that person at that moment.
Always
Sometimes
Buddha advised him to be very mindful about what he said.
And sometimes become restless,
When the
sometimes
Buddha
show
was
some unhappy side,
fulfilling the necessary
And sometimes
qualities to become a Buddha, it is
Behave
said in our
with
text,
fear, and some would have
the Bodhisattva,
violent death.
the person Buddha to
Because
be,
of the fact
was very, very
that
meticulous
the incident
about this
remembered by the
precept
person at
because
that
he
time
was
unpleasant things
trying to
done by that person.
realize the truth.
If the death occurred on that thought, the birth
Truth
will
cannot
take
be realized
in an
while
unhappy state, where
telling
the
lies.
person will suffer pain.
We are, as followers of the Buddha, are all
Therefore,
trying to
It is very important
either as the Buddha or
for
Arahant
good things, to avoid bad things,
to realize the truth.
because
We have to be truthful
that
all the
is
time.
rebirth, and that happens
And
according
also,
to the deeds,
We have to be
or
very
lifestyle
mindful
that
about
we have
what
here,
we say.
and therefore we
In other words,
do
not to
avoid bad things.
say anything that would harm others.
Quotation I had taken from the text, I explained,
Therefore, we have to be
avoid doing bad things, do good
refrain from
things.
backbiting,
These two aspects now we
idle
have
gossip
examined
and harsh
in short.
words.
We have seen
We have to
unwholesome actions,
train ourselves
and also we have seen wholesome actions.
to use the words
Honor,
which
civility,
are useful,
practicing generosity,
pleasing others,
practicing morality,
and gentle
and
words,
practicing meditation.
the words that pleases others. And these are the terms,
I
these
would
are
like
the
to
words
say
that we have to
Few
use
words
in
about
our daily life.
meditation, because it is
And
very
now we can
important
see
and also
That
widely
precept is also
practiced
based
now
on
throughout the world.
love and compassion.
Here,
One is practicing
In the
loving
Buddha's
kindness
advice, it says,
and compassion. One would never
Purify the mind.
use any harsh
that is the
word to others.
purify the mind. That is the word used
If
by
one
Buddha
is
in this advice. Here it
Using
doesn't say
any harsh
meditation,
word any
but
time,
it says purify the
immediately
mind.
that person himself or herself
And
can
purifying the
feel
mind is meditation.
at least slightest
I know
anger in the mind.
Most of you
And
who
without
are here are
getting
practicing
angry,
meditation,
you can't use harsh words.
especially under the corporate body
And
of
also
the
without
Buddha education.
practicing
house.
loving feeling
And
and
under
compassionate feeling, you can't use
Gandhimas,
gentle
I
words.
know that many of you are practicing meditation here.
So we can see
This
the
word
connection
meditation in
between
English
loving kindness, compassion and truthfulness.
gives us very
And this is to be practiced in our daily life.
superficial meaning of the word.
We have to train ourselves
Bhavana.
to practice these things in our daily
Bhavana
life.
means
And the last precept, the fifth
Cultivation.
one, is Surameraya Majjapama Dattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhyami in Pali language, which means
development of body,
I
In other
undertake
words,
the
the
precept
development
to
quality-
abstain from taking
qualities of the
intoxicants.
mind and quality of the body.
This
That is bhavana.
precept or this principle
We have
is
qualities in our
also
mind,
connected with the
both
society,
good and bad.
the social life.
Good qualities,
When one is
are
intoxicated,
loving kindness,
one loses
compassion,
the balance of the mind
sympathy,
and
charity, benevolence,
becomes
and
unable to decide what is right
have
and
to
wrong.
develop these
So
qualities.
there is every possibility
When
for
we
that person to
develop
do
good
all
qualities,
bad things.
Bad qualities are
Therefore, the Buddha advised us
subdued
to
or
refrain
sometimes
from
sublimated
intoxicants.
and sometimes completely eradicated.
Now,
What are the bad
I
qualities?
have said all the five
Such
precepts.
as anger,
All the, what
hatred,
ordinary people, say lay people
arrogance,
undertake to observe in their daily life.
and these are the bad qualities.
We
of
can
the mind.
see
When we
the
develop
relevance of these
loving
things
kindness,
to our daily life.
anger is reduced.
These are
When we develop
not commandments,
compassion,
but these are
cruelty is
precepts and principles.
reduced.
The principles
When
of
we-
Buddhist way
when
of
we
life
develop
is these five precepts.
Sympathetic joy,
One can
jealousy is,
undertake these things, and also one can
you can see.
violate these things, one or two
When,
or a couple
when
of them
one thing is developed,
day,
the other things
or
reduce.
sometimes a number of times a day. One can violate
Once
these
at a
things,
time, there
but that
cannot
does not
exist
make
two
a person
thoughts
creating a
in one's
sin.
mind.
That
In other
violating
words,
these
no one can have
principle or precepts is not considered
anger
as a
and
sin.
love together at once,
Buddhism.
at the same time.
It is
When
an
the
error
loving kindness is there, we have to develop that.
that can be
Now,
corrected by undertaking,
continue,
by renewing these
We
precepts,
continue it
and we
as
can
long as
see
we can. So long
how harmless
anger is not
the
there.
Buddhist way of life is. If one
When
adheres
we
to these
develop our
principles, if one
compassionate
practices
feeling,
these,
as long as we develop that,
Is it better?
the cruelty
we can see
in this way,
how peaceful the
that
Buddhist
development of
way of life
quality
is. When people adhere to these
considered as
principles,
bhavana.
brings
That development
peace, it brings
to be
happiness
done
to individuals, and also it
throughout
brings
the day,
peace and
all
happiness
the time.
to the society.
Development here means
Now you can see
to maintain that feeling
these are not something to be
throughout the
observed
day, or as long as one
once
can
or twice a
maintain.
day. It is something
If
to
one
be
can maintain
practiced
loving
all day,
compassionate thought, sympathetic
all the time, when in our waking
the time.
hours.
or as much
This
of
is
the
why I said the Buddhist way of life is
Yes.
very simple.
no
Does not
occasion for that person to do anything.
create, or it does not
The others.
expect any form of ceremonies
Some
to
people
observe
think
these principles.
When
Training
they use
one's
the word
life
meditation
to a particular way
nothing
of
but sitting somewhere in
principles.
the corner,
a particular way of
legs
precepts,
crossed,
and that is the
and keep
life of
eyes
a Buddhist.
closed and waiting for something to dawn
It is
upon
the
them.
training, it is the way of life.
Sitting motionlessly
All the time,
is also
wherever
a
one
part
is.
of meditation.
Once or twice a
We-
day,
we
or
practice
at a
that.
particular
We
time
all
of the
do
day,
that.
or particular time
But
of
we
the
have
month.
to do it with understanding
I
that
said that
bhavana
Buddha
has
advised
to be
us
continued
to
not only while
refrain
sitting,
from
but also
all evil
while
things
walking,
and
while working,
do good things,
while talking,
cultivate
while
the mind.
cooking,
This is the
while
advice
washing,
given by the Buddha.
and while doing everything.
I have explained
In
briefly
other words,
what are the things
For
that we have to
example,
do in our daily life, how to
practice
observe it.
loving feeling in
And
our
let us see what is
or metta or
do
mind,
good things.
loving kindness and compassion
What does that mean
Should
to say good things?
be in our minds
Then again the Buddhist life
not
is
only while sitting but also while
examined in three different ways. You say
And
dana, sila, bhavana.
one is
Dana,
able
sila, bhavana.
maintain one's mind
Practicing
in this way,
generosity,
that person becomes
practice
a
in
blessing
morality,
to the society.
practice in meditation.
That person becomes a blessing to the
And
family,
these are
and that person
the
becomes
things
a blessing
what we say, do good things.
to human
Dana
beings as well as to non-human beings.
means giving.
All.
Practicing generosity.
When we talk
Be
about
generous in
bhavana
heart.
in detail,
Be generous
there are
in
two
mind.
forms of meditation, or
Buddhist
two forms of bhavana,
people, the followers of the
samatha
Buddha,
meditation and vipassana
are
meditation. Samatha
very
meditation
keen in practicing
means
generosity.
the function of samatha meditation is
In any Buddhist
calm
country,
down our emotions.
dana is
Vipassana meditation
practiced
is
with great enthusiasm.
insight meditation.
Dana has
Gives us understand
several aspects,
about the nature
like
of ourselves and
giving
about
material
the
things
world.
and giving
We learn these meditations
life,
Venerable,
also giving Dhamma.
in this way.
Giving material
Buddhist
things
way of
means food, clothes,
A life
money, property,
all the time,
any such things
all
come
places,
under that category,
not in one place, not at a time.
under the category of
It is for
the
all.
material things. But
all
that
time.
dana should be given
Summarize what the Buddha said.
in order to
Not
eradicate
to do
our
evil, to do good.
craving and attachment or greediness.
And these are the things that
In Buddhist teaching,
three things that we try to
we are
examine.
encouraged to practice dana
In this short
as a
period of
paramita, the bodhisattva ideal.
Not to do evil,
so
to do good and purify the
We
mind.
should be able to give all our material things, and also we should be able to give our limbs,
I have
our
explained
organs,
feeling,
and also if it is necessary, we should be able to give our life
and
as
taking
well.
intoxicating drinks and drugs.
Dana can
To do
become
good things, I
a big dana or a small dana according to
generosity or giving,
the mental
giving,
state of the person
giving material
at the
things
time of practicing that
and giving
generosity.
life. That means giving
One can
fearlessness
spend
to others,
enormous
and
amount of
also giving
money, enormous amount of
and this
time
good,
and energy
and to purify the
in
mind.
practicing generosity, but at the same time
Oh, what
that can become very small
all these
in its
all
result
these three things
because of the wrong understanding of the practice of generosity.
daily.
That means if one is giving
In this
in
way,
order to
one
gain
lives according to these things, that one's
name
life becomes
or publicity or fame
peaceful to individual
or
as
to
well as
gain much in return, and
so.
that generosity
I'm not
is
going
being
to
spoiled.
continue any longer.
One should not
I
spoil
have
one's
explained, or I
practice
have
of
given
generosity
enough material
out
for
of
you to think
because of
of.
these things, and one should
As Buddhist practices,
one's
for
mind
daily
should be
life,
free from all these
and I would be quite
expectations.
happy to
If
answer
one should be able to give
have any.
for the sake of giving,
So, before I
letting go,
conclude, I
in
would
other
like
words.
to express my
dana
grateful
becomes
thanks
big
to
or small
Venerable
depending on the mental state at the time of the
and
practice
also
of it.
the
Venerable
corporate body of the
Moggallana
Education Foundation and all
is
those
one of
who
the
are
main
responsible
disciples
for
of the Buddha.
organizing this meeting tonight. May
He
you
has
all be well
Great
and
miraculous powers.
peaceful.
He was certain
May no harm
in
come
miraculous powers,
May no
performing
difficulty
miraculous
come
powers or miracles
May
only
no
to the
problems
Buddha.
come to you. May
He
you
was
always
very famous because of
be
his
success,
miraculous power.
peace, happiness and prosperity.
He used to
Good luck.
visit
May you have understanding the life and its
heaven
vicissitudes.
and also hell
May you
from
have
time to time.
determination and courage to meet with and
You know that
overcome
there are, when we say
the
heaven, it is
inevitable
not one
difficulties,
thing as
problems
in other
and
religions.
failures.
In other
life.
religions,
As
they
we
say
would
there are
aspire,
one
May
heaven
we
and
all
one hell.
attain the
For Buddhist
everlasting
teaching,
happiness.
there are much more than one.
The Buddha
That means that we have 6
Nibbana.
divine realms. We say Divya Loka or divine realms, divine worlds. There are 6 of them. Only 6 divine realms. And also upper divine realms, what are known as Brahma worlds. There are 16 of them. 16, 1-6 Brahma realms, which are considered as the upper divine realms.
If you
In other
yourself
religions,
realize
when they talk about
that
hell,
you
there
are
is only one.
with unpleasant
In Buddhism, we are taught there are
that
many.
itself gives you the understanding.
Not hell, therefore we don't use
It is
the
unexplained.
term hell, we say purgatories,
If you are speaking to someone
where
with
beings
unpleasant feelings,
suffer the
You
the
can't do
consequences
it
of
with
their
love.
bad deeds. Venerable Moggallana
you
used to
yourself feel
visit
that
these
you are
planes,
irritated.
these realms,
Irritation means
where these different beings are being born.
and without anger,
When
without
he
irritation,
went
you
to
can't speak
those
to another
purgatories
person
where beings suffered,
who get
he
irritated.
talked to them and asked them
So therefore,
what bad deed
that
that they did
understanding itself
during their
makes
lifetime
you
in human world
feel that you are doing something bad.
as a result to be born in
On
such a
situation, better
unhappy state. When he learned from them the bad deeds that
and
they did
consider, am I right?
in human realm,
And try to create
returned
that feeling in your mind, in your heart.
and explained or advised the people
Anytime, if
not
you
to
are
do
going to
bad
speak
things because they would have to
anger
suffer
or resentment,
in different forms
can't
of
speak pleasant
purgatory.
words. You can't
When he visited
speak kind words.
heaven, he talked to those people who are born there and come back to human world, explain to human beings
Right. The question is
the
this,
nature of
one is telling
divine world and
but the
the
listener
comfortable life those people,
gets irritated.
those beings enjoying there, and
Having
encourage
the
people to do
the
good
person
things
gets
to be born in heavenly world.
irritated.
Such an occasion,
The fact can be correct,
when he visited
but
heaven,
still we have to use
he met
our
a beautiful
conscience, whether it is right
celestial a female being, whom is a nymph,
unpleasant
what we say in
or
English, a
unhappiness
nymph.
to the listener. Don't say so.
He met
Don't say
a nymph in heavenly world.
Say in other words,
That is what
when
we
you are
say
walking along the road,
a female
you may
deity
find someone who is
who was very beautiful
ugly.
with a very big mansion.
True fact. Can you say
And
to
very
that person,
attractive.
can you go to that person to say,
She
oh, you
came
are
down
ugly, although it is the truth?
and knelt down to pay respect to Venerable Moggallana.
There are many
Having seen
truthful things,
her beauty
but still we have to keep silent.
and her luxurious life, Venerable Moggallana asked her
If it is
what
hurting others,
meritorious deed that she did during
Don't
human
say.
world to
Don't
be
say
born in
that.
such a comfortable state in heavenly world.
in this respect,
Then
was the best example to us.
she was a little bit shy to say what she did,
The fact
because
may be true.
the deed that she did was very small.
Unwelcome.
She could not disobey
Pleasing
him.
others, or
So
creating
she said,
disharmony
Venerable
among
Sir,
the individuals
I
do
was
not escape.
born in a very poor family
There may be
in
some
human world.
facts which are
My parents were very poor.
pleasing others.
They had a very little
Don't say that,
garden
because it is untrue.
out of the town
And
where my father did
said, it
plant
goes little further.
some
It
vegetables.
is true,
One day my father went out,
welcomed by the others.
leaving me in the hut to look after the garden. Then
There is nothing to be said.
when the midday approaching, I saw
Noble silence.
a monk
In our
going round collecting
they say
alms,
in this way.
what we say Pindapata. He was
Say
going
something
round
useful.
on Pindapata.
Beneficial.
Our Buddhistic
Or
Theravada Buddhist
and
tradition
also
not only in Theravada, even in Mahayana, you
If
have
you
this
don't have anything
Pindapata.
of nature,
Pindapata means going round with a
noble
bowl
silence. The Buddha Aryova
from
Tumhi
home to
Bhavo.
home, collecting alms food
Aryova Tumhi Bhavo. That
for the midday meal.
the noble silence. In
This poor girl
explaining
who was
the word,
looking after that
or
little
unskillful words, or
plot of land
the
and the vegetables there,
unwholesome words, they are
had seen
it has been
a
divided
monk
into four.
passing
Lying,
near the
slander,
land, near that
backbiting,
plot of land
gossip.
on
And
Pindapata.
there are some
And
people,
she wanted to offer something.
or not some people, many people,
She looked around.
they can't stop talking. They
She
talk
didn't
all
find
the time,
anything
all the
to be
time.
offered.
They don't know how to stop talking.
Then she
They talk to
searched
others and they talk to themselves.
in everything.
When you keep
Inside
talking,
that
talking
little
and
hut,
talking and talking,
there was nothing
that's what we said.
suitable for her to
All
offer to
gossip
that venerable monk.
are
So
included.
she went out
Are
to the
included.
garden and she had
Slander,
seen a
backbiting
small
and
fruit,
lying.
a pumpkin. And she picked up that. She offered that pumpkin to venerable monk who was going on Pindapata.
Next birth also will be in a peaceful place,
Although she offered that
enjoyable place,
at that moment out of great
and full of
saddha or
happiness.
faith, with great faith she
If
did
that
that,
incident
but she had little apprehension in her
It is
mind,
taken up the mind,
not knowing what her
That
father would say to her
something
when he
unpleasant.
returned.
or
But
say,
when
for
he
instance,
returned,
it makes the person unhappy.
She reported
Angry.
this incident to him.
You will see the reactions of that person at that
He was
moment.
very happy. He
Sometimes
was
become
also a pious Buddhist. He said,
violent,
sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
and
Oh, you
sometimes
did very
become
good thing.
restless,
And this made
and
this
sometimes
girl
show some unhappy
extremely
signs,
happy.
and sometimes
Which that happiness
behave
remained in her life
here,
all
and some
the through
would have
until her death.
violent death.
At her death,
Because of the fact
when she was about to
the
die,
incident remembered by the person at that time was unpleasant
this
things
was the act
done by that
she
person
remembered very
during
clearly.
lifetime.
As a
The
result
death
of this,
occurred on
he was
that
born
spot.
in heaven.
The next,
And
the birth will take
this shows us
in an unhappy state.
one can
Where the
spend
person
millions of millions
pain.
in general practicing generosity, in giving dana.
So
But
therefore,
still, if mind is
it is very
spoiled by
important for us
the thought of
do good
fame or gain
to avoid bad things,
or good name,
because
it becomes small in practice.
there is a
But
rebirth,
one can do small things
and that happens according to the deed
and can
or
expand that
lifestyle that we have
mind
here, and
or
therefore
purify
we
that
must
mind with saddha,
avoid
that
bad
will
things.
give much better results
The
than
quotation I
spending
had taken
more in
text,
things.
I explained to you,
And the other thing
Avoid
here
doing
I would
bad
like to
things.
mention,
do good things.
whatever we do,
And these
we
two
remember
aspects
these
now
things
we have examined
at our
in
death
short.
when we are
We
about
have
to
seen
die. We
unwholesome
can't remember
actions,
everything.
and also we have seen
We do
wholesome
so many things
dana,
in our daily
dana,
lives, both
practicing generosity,
good and bad.
practicing morality,
We can't remember
and
everything.
practicing meditation.
But there are certain things strongly struck in our mind,
I would like to say
which we remember
few
from
words
time to
about
time
meditation.
very clearly. Say,
Because it
for
is very
instance,
important, and also
you may
why
not be
do
able
we
to remember everything what
practice
you
now
did
throughout
this
the
morning.
world. Here,
If you want to remember it, you have to
in the Buddha's advice,
give
it says,
little thought to it.
purify the mind. That
But
is the word. The
there may be
purify the mind. That is
something
the word used by the Buddha in
you remember very often, very clearly,
that
very
point.
vividly
Here it doesn't say
the things that you have done 10 years back or 20 years back, because
And purifying
it
the mind
is
is
being
that
struck very strongly in the mind
I know
at death.
most of you who are here are practicing
When
meditation,
someone is lying on the
especially
deathbed
under
or
the
about to die,
corporate body of the
one of
Buddha
these
education
things
foundation
will
and
be the object of
unreferred.
dying thought.
Chandima, I know that
These
many of you are
things start
practicing
coming into the
meditation.
dying person's
Word
mind
meditation in
in a
English
succession. Like
gives
watching
us very
a film
superficial
TV.
meaning of the word bhavana.
There are so many incidences passing.
Bhavana means
If you put that film roll in
cultivation.
a fast motion
Cultivation
or fast
development
movement,
of what?
and you can see hundreds of events
Development of mind,
pass.
of development
In the
of
same
quality.
way,
In other words, development
the
of
things
quality,
done in the
qualities of
past
the mind and quality of
by
the
the
body.
person
That is bhavana.
and is strongly stuck in the mind,
We
start
have
coming into
qualities
the mind.
in our mind, both good
And
bad.
one would be
Good quality
taken
are
as the object of dying
loving
thought.
kindness,
If that
compassion,
object gives the person
sympathy,
or object or that if that incident is the
Charity.
happy one,
benevolence, and such.
the dying person becomes very happy,
We have to develop
Pleasant.
these qualities.
showing peace
When
in the
we
mind,
develop good qualities,
and sometimes
bad
smiling,
qualities are
very calm and quiet,
subdued
peace.
or sometimes sublimated, and sometimes
That when the death
completely
occurs
eradicated.
on that thought,
What are the
the
bad
next
qualities?
birth also will be in a
Such as
peaceful place,
Anger,
enjoyable place,
hatred, arrogance,
and full of happiness.
pride, and these are
If
bad
that
qualities
incident
of the mind.
which is
When
taken
we
up the
develop
mind
loving
at
kindness,